Well, hello, I'm 𝗣𝗶𝗱 𝗔𝗺. Welcome back. This is a rider review, my experience with the 𝗣𝗶𝗱 Templar 250. This is a regular model. It's basically a bike sold on Amazon and various other sites, and this bike shipped to my door was about $1,700. And in Washington State, at least, I was able to get a license plate, so it's a true dual sport. I've been riding for over 35 years and I've owned probably 35 to 40 motorcycles and had a lot of trail riding experience. So this is my review of it, what I thought about basically a box stock bike. If you haven't seen my previous videos, I got original one, how I got it registered and all that stuff, and another one modifying it. So enjoy the video, and there'll be a playlist down below in the description for some of the other videos I made on this bike.
Definitely got higher pressure than I should in the tires out here. On my KTM, I always ran tubeless, low pressure, and gummy tires. And this thing, I got the stock tires that came on at like road pressure. I think I got like 18 or something pounds in the front, and probably 16 or 15 in the rear. Definitely a little marbly. Definitely could see upgrading the tires a little bit. Might get some miles on this on road riding, wear them down a little bit, but definitely roll on all this pebbles here. The front tires seem to wash out, but that's just a stock tire issue right there. Most people replace their dirt bike tires on stock tires anyhow. All in all, suspension feels fine for my weight. I'm about 160, plus I probably got 8 to 10 pounds of tools, water, and food in my backpack, some camera gear, so getting 170, and oh, nice view of the mountains up there, the snow. I feel like this bike is sprung for my weight really well, much heavier, and you're probably better off getting the X, especially if you're a little taller. I'm 5'7", and bike fits me fantastic. A little heavier than my KTM. My KTM was 220. This one's about, I think in the last video I weighed it was like 248 or 250, somewhere in that range. A little bit of a porker, but pretty common for dual sports to be that or heavier. Whew. Yeah, Mike. Here's my XCW 200. Sold this to Mike this winter. Felt like the best way for me, I've been kind of contemplating getting a 4-stroke again, and the best way for me to get a lot of miles on these Chinese bikes to see how they hold up, this Templar 250 and the Storm DLX 150, was for me to just get rid of my trail bike, force myself to ride these ones, and honestly see how well they hold up. Definitely some better tires are going to be good. He's got gummies and stuff on his bike and tubeless.
So one of the interesting things is when I was doing research to get this bike is I heard that the company possibly got rights to remake the old KTM frames, and my KTM was a 2014, and so much of the plastic looks almost identical, even the frame shape. Of course, components aren't to the same quality as the KTM, but the price range of this bike's not even in the ballpark of what the KTM's cost originally. So interesting little thing I want to point out, a side note, is almost everything looks identical plastic wise, and the feel is very similar to the frame geometry as to my old 2014 KTM XCW 200.
Man, what a beautiful day. Weather's been so rough, nasty out, rainy, snowy. So nice to see the trails drying up and sun. So far this bike feels fine on the trails. I mean, that 150 I rode up here in December, I think, is more nimble. I mean, this bike is a lot heavier, but still, it's a dual sport. A little more capable on the roads than the 150. A little heavier on the trails, but that is what it is. It's not a trail specific bike. You could lighten up a little bit by taking some of the accessories off, but they don't really weigh that much. Everything's pretty refined, all LED lights, really small turn signals, and there's really not much weight there. It's just, I think, component wise, steel swing arm and just heavier components, but like I said, for a dual sport 250, it's right in that range of all the Japanese bikes that, or lighter than some of them. I'll figure out what like a KLX weighs.
So after digging around the internet and checking out what the small displacement Japanese bikes, we really don't get that many models in the States anymore. The KLX here is going to be about $6,800 after shipping and stuff. It's really not in the same ballpark as fuel injected 300, probably better build quality, but that's 54 pounds heavier than the bike I'm riding here. The XT250 is going to be about 5,800, and that bike is 43 pounds heavier and traditional kind of boring suspension. The TW hasn't changed much. Drum brake in the back. It's going to be about 5,500 shipped, and that is 30 pounds heavier. This is the closest contender to it and is not a dual sport, and it's 17 pounds heavier for the CRF 250. It is fuel injected though. And the bike that is actually pretty heavy, I think it's Chinese built Honda, is 34 pounds heavier for this 𝑥𝑟150L. So I don't think the Templar is doing too bad. After shipping, it's $1,700, and it's about a 248 pound motorcycle. You can do with a few things to lighten up a hair, but it's really not that bad. So after getting a few miles on the trails, I kind of forgot about the front tire washing out a little bit. The first stuff lower down on the hillside was definitely more marbly gravel. But, you know, having no problem keeping up with Mike with the tubeless and low tire pressure and gummy tires. And you know what? Just getting out rides with your friends and kind of put some of those things aside. Stock tires are stock tires, and I'm going to probably ride them until they start getting pretty worn out before I bother replacing them.
Still having fun. He's running gummies on that thing and low tire pressure. I'm still probably got 16 psi in the rear. He's running like 6 in a gummy tire, but this is a dual sport. I got to ride on the pavement. I'm not going to be running gummy on it. You'd just be throwing tires away. No problem. I've been thinking, like I said in that 150 video review, feel like I could keep up with all my friends with 300s on that bike and tighter trails. I really haven't had much time on this bike. I think right now I only got 55 miles on it. Like, I got it late, I don't know, late December, early January. It just rained, snowed, weather was terrible. Every time I'd had a nice day, it was out when I was at work, get home and it'd be raining. So it feels good to get back out here. I mean, this trail's mucky, but they're starting to dry up, and get some time in on this machine. I want to try to give some pretty damn good reviews on how these bikes are holding up, what holds up, what breaks, what I fix, what I change, just so if anyone's looking to try one of these things out for if you're smaller, or say you got a wife or girlfriend that is smaller. I'm only 5'7", so it fits me fantastic. It's a nice, smaller size dirt bike. Plenty of power for the trails. I mean, it's not like a super high output modern 4-stroke race bike, like track bike, but I don't even really like riding that kind of stuff anyways. Just enjoy getting out riding the trails with my friends. I know I'm making some stupid comment. 4-strokes are for beginners, 2-strokes are for guys that really know what they're doing. I mean, there's some dumb things that people say on the internet. It just sounds like it's a teenager that just learned how to ride that's spouting off some crap. But man, I've been riding 2-strokes and 4-strokes. I think I got my first bike as a 2-stroke Yamaha 80 when I was 7. Been riding dirt bikes since then. I'm 43 now, so 2-strokes are fun. They're also a pain in the ass. You got to rebuild them a lot more. You're always checking the hour meter. You got to mix the fuel, not a big thing, but I find myself going back and forth between 2-stroke and 4-stroke a lot. Also done a lot of riding on dual sports. You know, I can come into town, grab groceries, hit up these trails, and head home. Mike's bike, they're the one I sold him. He can puts it on his bike carrier on his truck. Brakes are fine, suspension's fine. I put a little preload in the back shock. I'll probably put a put a little bit more in this one because I can feel it's probably maxing out the throw on the back shock, hitting these high-speed whoops here. I think that's what you're gonna get in these kind of bikes. Is the suspension's a little softer. These aren't adjustable other than preload. But I'll preload a little bit more and see if that helps. But it kind of is what it is. It's a simple trail bike that you can ride on the road to the trails. It's not something you're gonna really want to take on long highway stretches. I got stock gearing on it. I was gonna change up the gearing, but what do I want? I'm gonna try to make a trail bike a highway bike, or do I want a trail bike that can get me around on the road, but be a little more revved out, but good gearing for the trails? Probably that. I want a bike that's geared good for the trails, so I'll probably keep the gearing pretty close to stock. Woo! That was fun. That was fantastic. Give him a little bit of space. I'm still breaking in this engine. It's got, like I said, 50 some miles, 56 miles on it. So I'm still breaking it in. Got lots of hours to, so I'm not gonna try to go crazy, but brakes feel completely fine for me. I probably ride this bike as the same kind of situation. Ride it as hard as I'd ride my KDX 200 in the trails and my XCW 200. See how it performs, you know. This bike is also 30 pounds heavier than the bike Mike's on, that 200 I used to have. So you got 30 extra pounds you're lugging around. Probably be a little more tired at the end of the day. So far, feels like you could rip the hell out of this thing. No problems. Give him a little space here. Don't like to ride really close to people. It's kind of nice for you guys to see a perspective of another bike running. But also I don't want to make them feel pressure to go faster. All right, open this up a little bit. These trails are open for quads too, so sometimes when they're not just single track, leave some interesting ruts. You gotta kind of pick one or the other where the quad tires are. Kind of causes you to hop around on the trail a lot, but still pretty fun. Gearing feels pretty good. On the road, the gearing feels a little funky, just because they're so close together. Second, third, and fourth are really close ratio, but you know, it's got a lot of grunt, so you can kind of lug it down. I'm in third going 18 right here, but you can kind of power out of it, no problem. Roll on the throttle, it's got a lot of torque. I can, sometimes when I'd run the XCW, I'd run in a gear taller sometimes, and just because it's a little more peaky, you could kind of mellow it out. It had a lot of grunt because it had a flywheel weight and a different pipe, but sometimes with even the 300s, you can run them in gear taller and just run them in the lower to mid RPMs. You don't have to be on the pipe on the two strokes for this kind of stuff. This bike's got plenty of grunt right off the line, so it does pretty well. It revs out pretty quick too. I was kind of surprised. It does feel extra wide with these wide handlebars. I never cut them down yet. I'd like to shave off maybe a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch on them. And the mirrors are widest part of the bike here, but it is a dual sport.
So keep in mind, I've got some serious talking from people on the internet, saying some rude stuff about me and this bike. I don't know how long the bike's going to hold up. So far, it's been ripping. I've been having fun on it. It actually fits me really well. And for the price, can't go wrong, at least for now. I'm going to go for a lot of things I'd like and dislike. But here I'm going to throw a few rude-ass comments I've gotten over the past few months from my YouTube channel. People that just, it's not their money, so it shouldn't matter. But they get so pissed that I'm buying a Chinese bike and testing it out.
Give them a little bit of space here. I don't want to make them feel rushed on the trail. Whew, it's fun. Definitely a lot more weight to throw around. I mean, that's what you gotta get with a 250-pound dual sport. But like I said, that bike he's riding is 30 pounds lighter. You can hop off of rocks like that, no problem. But the bigger whoops and step downs, I caught my license plate a few times on the back tire, so I'm gonna put a little more preload in the shock. Last time I rode this trail, there was frost on it. So I got the stock gearing on here, stock chain. I highly recommend replacing that within the first few 100 miles because I've heard some people have them snap on them. It's non-O-ring anyhow. I've got an O-ring chain to add to it. But all in all, the gearing's stock gearing on the bike and the transmission, even though it's really close. It's great for the trails, maybe not the best for the roads, but feels great. This is a pretty tight trail through here. It's tight single track and gearing's good. I bounce between second and third. Right now second. I do find the transmission feels much notchier, a little harder toe pressure to shift up and down than my KTM or other Japanese bikes. All that may wear in with more miles. I'm still breaking the bike in. It just might be what it is. I mean, when you can buy a whole engine shipped to your house for $550 for this bike, the whole entire engine, you gotta know there's gonna be some downsides on some stuff. Maybe the notchiness will smooth out. It's not a deal breaker for me, but there's been a few times. I haven't missed one shift on this thing, and I've been on Japanese bikes and missed some shifts when I'm out trail riding, so not like I hit a false neutral. Never had that happen today, but there's been a few times I went to go up shift, put a lot of pressure on my toe, and it doesn't pop into the next gear unless you pull a little extra hard, and I don't like it, but you got to be realistic about it. I mean, the bike was $300 shipping, and total with shipping it was $1,700 to my house. A lot of people talk a lot of shit about these things, but all in all, it's pretty capable. So far, the throttle response has been pretty good on this carb. Definitely feels a smoother, has a little bit more punch than the other carb. Fit right on there, the boot and the air box, which was awesome. Really simple carb to put on here. I mean, it took like literally no tuning. I played with the air fuel mixture screw just a tiny bit, and I'm riding at probably 1,000 feet, maybe 1,200 feet, and anywhere from sea level up to probably 1,500 today, and it feels fine. I mean, keep in mind, this is like basically box stock, other than that carb adjustment. Pulled out the end cap on the exhaust and put a spark arrestor on there. Put a little more preload in the shock, and total not that necessary, but just switched out the kickstand. I think that's all I did to it. So, I mean, this is a bike that's sold on Amazon. You gotta be kind of realistic of a bike you can get on Amazon, but holy shit, I'm fine with it. It's heavy, I guess, but not that bad for a dual sport. I'm just feeling at 150 is nice and light, and I would probably bring that one up next time. Want to do a little video here and just show the carb, and I like it. This has got longer legs for going out, and you you know, going on a 100-mile ride, which is trails, logging roads, and some road or pavement riding. The 150 is definitely not set up for that. The 150 seems like back roads, 45, 50 miles an hour and less to get to your trail riding spots. Once you're on the trails, the bike's a dream. I mean, 70 pounds lighter than this. You gotta understand the whole bike is lighter duty, a little smaller wheels, less power, but once you're going 20 to 25 on these trails, that's about how fast you gotta go. And you can really lay into it. It's fun. It's a good little bike, that 150 Storm. If you haven't seen that video, put a link down in the description. As soft as the suspension feels in the back, it's not pogo-y. I mean, it's got rebound dampening, but it's just a little soft for my weight, I guess. I don't know who they designed this bike for, but 170 pounds on it is definitely bottoming out on any like really big high-speed whoops or any little step downs or anything. But it's only been, I think, twice or 3 times today. I just barely, wasn't a hard bottom out. I just felt the license plate scrape the tire. But I've never had gnarly rebound on it all day, which is good. I've had other bikes where they spring you back so hard it kicks the back end up. This one's smooth, so the valving is good. It's just soft.
Well, thanks for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, maybe leave a comment or not. Got some other videos down below. Check them out if you'd like.